Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show Podcast. Teresa hit us up on Twitter and said, why does Kevin always greet people on the After the Show podcast listeners with his Just for Coco dog voice? Random thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. After the show podcast. Very close, yeah.
I love it.
It's very close, yeah. I don't know. Weird things I just can't explain.
You love your dog. You love the podcast.
You're right.
So
you're right.
It's your love voice.
Okay.
Drink it in.
Is that what it is? Love voice.
You romantic son of a bitch.
Okay. Love voice. How about that?
No one knows about romance like Jokey the Jackman.
Jokey the Jackman.
It's a great title. Jokey the Jackman.
He's just in the corner touching himself.
Yeah.
Just jacking.
That's how he got the name, you know. It's an active title. Coming up here, we will get to our Twitter troll theater. Virginia went off on somebody over the weekend on Twitter.
I woke up to it. It was an interesting read. Although I found out most of the extra drama, I couldn't get it on my feed.
Yeah, you have to kind of look for it a little bit, I guess.
I don't like that about Twitter.
Yeah,
I wish it'd be more uniformed.
It was confusing because I there was one part that pertained to me, I thought, or possibly. I was still even confused if it did or not. But then I'm like, wait, I didn't even get the context. I have no idea what's going on. So it was, I same thing. And I tried going on the different things and
whoever this douche is claims to be employed here at our company.
I'm not buying that.
I'm not buying it either. But I do feel like I've seen that hairline before. Could he be like a weekend dude?
Again, we know everyone that works in this building for the most part.
I don't.
Why would somebody in the building go in at you? It just doesn't make any sense. He's a Johnny-come-lately. He's trying to get attention. It's working. It's working, definitely.
I don't know. I looked at his Twitter. He hasn't gone up a single follower.
Well, I mean,
I don't think it's working for him.
I hear you.
He's coming off dumb.
Yeah, that part of it. Yeah, I have no idea, but it doesn't look familiar to me.
Sailfish Sean, that's his handle.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, if he works here, I never met him. I don't think. I feel like we've met him out somewhere at something.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like he works with us.
Yeah, some people that do meet us, they don't like us, so it's possible. I have met people just to come up to tell me they don't like our show. They'll introduce themselves. I'm like, all right, well, that was fun.
Oh, you know what's odd? I actually went to this guy, probably part of it. I had him muted. What I mean, so I think that, and I don't mute hardly anybody, so that means that he's been kind of a dickweed before then, right?
Okay, so he must have come after you before and said something nasty.
He hates our show. You can tell. We put up a goofy wrestling video, and you people are awful. He doesn't like anything we'll do. He just wants to tear us down.
Well, he picked a bad day to mess with me. And mess with Panda. That's what really got me upset because he put the comment under the video that Panda made, and then Panda was sad.
It's so funny that the people who like I have this one guy on Instagram, so he's just following me, so he's hate following me. He hates my guts. Everything I put up or I do, or I'll play guitar sometimes. Oh, he rips me apart so bad. He calls me a loser. Hates anything I do about my family, and he's just there merely just to say horrific shit to me. It's an interesting psychosis.
It is. This is something weird with social media where there are certain people, all they do is just follow things they hate and then comment.
Mm-hmm.
It seems kind of like an empty life.
No, it's not a good way to spend any time. Yeah,
but for them, they get their kicks out of it.
I do. Mean, but honestly, for me, the beautiful thing about it, obviously, people like that. If they are screaming at me, that's probably why I didn't get to see it.
You probably muted the conversation with him.
And I don't do that right away. It's not like everybody disagrees with me, but it's like after a while, if you're only just there to try to be a dickweed, to me and just say, it's like, I don't need, that's okay. I don't need to even have those words go through my brain. So I just mute people like that.
Back in the day, I felt like people didn't really want to hear anybody who was in the public eye complain about any of that. But then something changed, I feel like, where everyone started calling everybody out about everything. And now I think it's relatable. I think people, because I saw two teachers get into a fight, and the one teacher was calling out the other teacher about how terrible she is and she doesn't follow the curriculum and was tearing her. It got so personal. And this could have really affected their job. It got so personal. They were calling each other out on some shady shit. I mean, I think it's a relatable thing for people.
I just don't know why you do that on a public forum. And like I said, the only time like I ever even really, lower myself down into these kind of like things is just if there's an allegation that somebody says. And a lot of times if they have no credibility like that guy, I don't even know if he was referring to me or not. Like
I don't know. I tried to get him to answer, and he wouldn't say who he was talking about.
There was a claim of cheating
somebody's
or something?
Cheating on their wife. Why would you tag somebody's cheating on their wife or something like that? And so, when you come up with something, it's like, I don't even know who you are or whatever it is, and something that's so baseless, it's like, all right.
Well, now I kind of do want to know who he is. I'm very curious because he claims to work here, so...
No. I've never seen him in the building, and it'd be the dumbest thing if he worked.
I've seen that forehead.
But he doesn't work in the building. I've never seen the guy. I don't know every employee here.
He don't work here.
Yeah, and if he worked for the company, honestly, I would just take the whole thing, and you would take it right to our bosses, and you'd be going, "We got this guy who works in our company, and this is a problem," and he would immediately either be suspended or fired. I mean, if you were going after somebody and saying somebody like that, because I could then press and say, he has accused me of cheating on my wife. And now the burden of proof is on him. He's done it in a public forum. And I would say, I'm going to sue his pants off. He needs to prove that I have cheated on my wife unless you terminate this guy. And that would be in my right to be able to do something like that, to pull that play. And I wouldn't want to be in the same company if somebody would throw out those kind of accusations, baseless accusations against me. So that would be what it would be. And so
all because of this wrestling video. And I do have to admit, it wasn't my best work, Coach. I mean,
it was done on the fly.
We were just having a goofy time about the
promo.
I turned into a wrestling thing, and I tried to slam suits, and there's a term for when you don't do your wrestling. It's called botching the move. We completely botched the move. I'm trying to hook his arm, and I slip on his actual suit, so it's a complete mess. But I mean, it's just a goofy video.
Yeah. So yeah,
we have to repost that because people they want to see the video now.
Absolutely, repost it.
Yeah, and it's up on at least Twitter. I think it was on our Facebook and all that kind of stuff too. If you just scroll down a little bit, it should be there. If you need to get it right now,
I looked for it. I didn't see it on the Facebook. I think I just saw it on Twitter.
Okay, yeah, we'll put it back out. The video with the wrestling, that's what started all of this drama. Kevin's cheating on his wife. Virginia gets too much Botox.
Yeah, so anyway, it's just that's what happens with Twitter. It just somebody makes a stupid, awful comment at somebody, and then people get all upset and it just goes crazy. Well,
I remember one time someone in the chat room said, we're talking about something, there was like a tax story, and the guy said, oh man, coming from a guy who's never paid his taxes before, who owes money to the government, and something where I allude that I have a tax shit. I'm like, dude, no. They owe me money. I don't owe them money. Big difference.
Yeah.
Because then people are like, hey man, you're having tax problems. Like, no.
I'm the one that owes the tax people money, not Jay-Bird.
Yeah, they owe me money.
Jay-Bird hasn't filed, but they owe him money.
That's why I've never been in a hurry, because to me it's almost like having money in the bank. I've done it before where you get two taxes. You're like, holy shit, I got a little bit of money right now. This is awesome.
It's his savings account.
It makes it very exciting for me.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts on the Twitter trolls is just 90% of the time it's not even worth it. The only time that it would be is 10% of the time, sometimes something takes hold and it starts, it goes off, and then people are feeding off of it, and now it's kind of like that telephone game, and something's completely out of control, and they're like going, oh, the fact they're not responding means that they're guilty. And that'd be the only time really that I would feel need to even get into the conversation.
Well, I have a family of panickers, so anytime anything's like, what's going on? What's going on with your taxes? I get a text immediately. I'm like, fucking A. No, everything's cool with my taxes.
I think of it as a sport. I think when somebody comes for you on Twitter or any of social media, sometimes it's just fun to give it back a little bit, especially with a guy like this. I mean, he was so easy to annihilate.
One of my favorite comedians is Bill Burr, and he goes after trolls all the time, and they go, "Well, Bill, aren't you above that?" He goes,
No,
I'm not. I love it. It's great.
It's fun.
I get off on it.
I enjoyed myself laughing at my jokes. It made me happy.
It sharpens your comedy writing for insults.
You're right.
It does.
It does.
It's good practice.
So if it's sport, then there you go. And Virginia was definitely having a good time with it. So she went after it. Let me see. We got a couple of emails here. One about elbows on the table. This is Jay Bird's calling out today. He was at Duffy's with some people, and somebody's like going, you shouldn't put your elbows on the table.
At Duffy's, though? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not calling anybody out at Duffy's. This chick, whoever she is, and I don't know because you wouldn't say, which is kind of uncool.
You don't even know if it's a chick. I never even said that.
Yeah, you did. You said it was a chick.
All right.
She needs to check herself. You can't be correcting people in Duffy's. Who are you? Why would you ever think that you're the police of manners in Duffy's?
I'm going a step further and just saying the rule doesn't make any sense even when you're at a 5-star restaurant and it's fancy pants. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't think many people look at somebody big, they have their elbows on the table, minus the girl you were with. I think, if you're sprawled out all over the place and your arms are out and this and that and you're crowding somebody else, then they may be like, okay, he seems to be very unaware. But, yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. There's a couple different reasons on why they did it. Somebody said it was sailors putting their elbows on the table earlier so that their bowl while they're eating wouldn't be flying all over the table, which is kind of interesting. Somebody else said that it used to be with the great houses and castles in England during the Middle Ages. They didn't have dining tables in the great halls, so tables were made from trestles and covered with a cloth. The diners sat along one side only, and if they put their elbows on the table and leant too heavily on the table would collapse. So that was part of it as well. But that was based out of necessity. Yeah, because you're right. Now as you break it down, you're like, what's the big deal? What to do, So I don't get people to call people out, especially like if you're in a public group like that you would say something to kind of like, okay, were you trying to make me look silly?
I get called out all the time. I think people hear how we are on the show in Virginia and you, and we goof around. I think people just think they can do that.
Feel too comfortable.
Sometimes I do think that.
It is a weird psychosis. I do see people walk right up to Jay Bird and say the meanest, most insulting stuff, and you're like, ugh.
It's just weird.
We know each other, and we're messing around.
Most of the time, it doesn't bother me. But I'm human. Every now and then, you'll be in a bad mood. You're like, what the fuck did you say?
Yeah.
I don't know you like that.
I mean, every now and then, I will not be goofy, lovable Jaybird. I will turn into a dick sometimes.
Mm-hmm. You're talking to a friend of yours. It's a bartender talking about getting too familiar and going across the line. There was this guy over the weekend that apparently was there. She was serving him for a while.
Yeah, this guy was nice. Like he was just a patron at the bar for 20 minutes having small talk with the bartender. She's a female. And he's talking with her. All of a sudden, she gives him this beer, and he looks at her and says, "Does your vagina taste as good as this beer?" And she was so offended, she had him kicked out.
Why would he say that?
Who fucking, because he's an idiot. And she had him kicked out. They took him out. And then she asked me, she goes, "Do you think I was over the line for having him kicked out?" I go, that is such a rude comment. Just don't say that to people. Does your vagina taste as good as this beer?
I'd be like, you'll never know.
Would you?
I would not kick him out because I've been a bartender and people say all kind of stuff, and I just I want his money. I'll take it.
Do you think that's worthy of a kick? Because they did kick him out.
I mean, it's subjective. Now, if she thought he should have been kicked out, then he should have been kicked out. But for me, I would have probably said something smart ass back to him and embarrassed him and then just gone about.
Yeah, I can imagine you're probably getting a lot of stuff like in a bar and somebody's sitting there for a while. I'm sure hearing and seeing things that are outside of the normal bounds of regular decent society. So yeah, it just depends upon where you're set. But I think it's within her right to do it if she wanted to.
Sure, if she wants him gone, absolutely. I'd rather get his tip than get him kicked out.
Don't tell him you'd rather get his tip.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that tip.
He'll let you know.
I bet bartenders share the worst shit possible.
My girlfriend was telling me, I mean, and they don't even care. Like, you'll have a wedding ring on, and guys will just be like, I don't care about your husband. I'll pay you whatever, 30 minutes. Like, guys will blatantly try to buy you like you're a hooker.
Well, especially if you get somebody who's already brazen and then they start drinking on top of that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, too, like, guys just get a little beer in them and they just lose their shit. They just fall apart. And my girlfriend is really pretty, and I think guys just get, like, in a spell.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way guys are. Some guys are wired, but they think that stuff's gonna work, and maybe once in their life it does.
Sure, it only takes one.
You're right, one time.
Encourage a man.
Yeah, got an anonymous email here. Says, that story about there was a kid that dropped some acid and went to school, freaked out, started groping his teacher and his principal.
Yeah.
Apparently, this dude is a rookie. Because he said, my buddies and I used to eat LSD in homeroom our senior year many times. You just had to hold your shit together. Seeing the chalk float off the board was great, and getting tracers from the teachers moving their arms. There would be 4 to 12 of us tripping sometimes. Good times, good times.
Oh, my gosh.
The only kid that got in trouble was one time one of the gang ate those belladonna flowers or something. He tripped and lost his shit. Okay. All righty. There you
Rookie.
go. Apparently, yeah. True. What do they call them? Shroomers? Well, I mean, what is somebody that's dropping acid, doing shrooms, all that kind of stuff? Do you have a name?
I don't know.
You have coke heads?
I've never done
potheads.
acid. That would be the last thing I would ever want to do.
Yeah, that psychedelic stuff is a different level.
I could not imagine doing that. What if you had a terrible trip and all of a sudden every tree is Ted Bundy? You know what I mean? It could be.
Oh, it definitely happens.
Well, I have friends who did it in high school. Unless they're lying to me, and I don't think that they are. They would tell me these stories about how this one time my buddy ate acid and he's sitting at the table and the guy's face was melting in front of him. Like, I don't want that shit.
Terrible.
It sounds awful.
The only thing I want melting to my butter.
That's not a party.
No, fuck that. Hell no. That seems so not relaxing to me.
Wow. Let's see. This one is an email for an update. Just want to see if Kevin had any update from his mom or dad on how Don Conley died. That's from Randy.
It's so funny how people
Logan
are
Drama.
legit interested in that guy.
Yeah, any updates for us?
No news. My parents, went to my parents. I think are on the funeral circuit. Everybody that has died, they seem to go to the funerals and give me the reports.
Oh yeah.
So I've had a few people that I grew up with that have passed here recently.
Do they like kind of giving you the funeral? I know they're not happy someone died, but it's because I just feel like older people love talking about depressing shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my town, it's a small town, so it's always big news.
People like to be involved.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes it's fun to have the inside information to be able to tell the others.
Yeah.
To be that source of details
Right.
and info and insider.
And there's been a couple of deaths here recently, just in the last year, because I think Don Conley's died in the last year, that I think things have changed a little bit in my hometown.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this has to do with, the way drugs are today and prescription stuff. But, yeah, my parents, when they went to Don's, I mean, Don's my age. He's 40 or would have been 45. And they didn't really, it wasn't discussed.
How he died.
He's just dead. And I think he had some back issues and some back problems and was in a lot of pain. And so
It's hard work stomping people to death.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Your back
Oh, you
does
throw
take
your-
a beating.
Oh yeah, and then when you try to bury him in a pond, I mean, you can see how that torquing and moving. Yeah, that's tough.
Bodies aren't heavy and they don't move themselves.
Yeah, I think it had a car wreck, but then probably just 25 years of ass kicking probably just took its toll.
His idea of heaven is people fight all day long. He just loves to fight.
Yeah, if there's any fighting,
He's probably not in heaven, Babu.
yeah. And he might be happy about that.
You're right.
He's probably kicking ass in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably
Is
like,
this all you got, Satan? Shit.
He licks his wounds and goes right back in.
The devil's a pussy.
I could see that coming out of his mouth, yeah. That'd be Don Conley for you. So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. It was very quiet, and that's kind of weird because there was another death. Kid who I was good friends with his sister, and he was a couple years younger than me, and he would have been 2-3 years younger than me. And, yeah, he just died recently. And like in his bathroom, and they kind of said, "Oh, he wasn't in the best health," but yeah, I don't know.
Are they covering shit up in Logan?
I don't know. They're just because then as the rumors come around, and I don't pay a lot of attention. Some
Kevin.
people were trying to get the thing going.
You need to pay better attention to the rumors.
Yeah,
please.
I run from them. Somebody's trying to spill the tea, and they're like, "Going, yeah, well, I know that you guys were close once upon a time, and so sorry. I'd heard he'd had some drug issues." I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
A lot of times when a guy in his 40s dealing with pain issues dies suddenly, yeah, you can put the opioid connection together. I mean, just look at the numbers nationwide.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's kind of hit my area kind of hard. Since I've been there, it wasn't a big deal, obviously, when I was around. But, yeah, so as my parents are going to some of these funerals and they're giving the report back, I'm like, did they happen to say, like, what it was? Why'd they pass? And they're like, yeah, they oddly sidestepped that pretty hard. So
That's
yeah,
a little alarming.
That to me says personal accountability.
Don't know.
The person either took drugs or killed themselves. Because if somebody else did it, of course you would say, oh, they were wrongly murdered, and you would want to be...
Or they had heart condition, or they had cancer, or they had this, or they had that. I mean, yeah, typically there's only a few things where you don't, for the most part, it's not front and center when you get there and somebody's passed. And that seems to be a pretty natural question, especially when somebody's not past the age of 50 or 60
if
or
I had
70.
anybody in my life that died in their 40s or 50s or even 60s, I'd be like, well, what happened?
Right?
Seems natural.
I got to stop saying, because I got yelled at by someone in their 60s over the weekend saying, stop saying 60s is old. And I'm not saying 60s is old.
No, it's not old at all. The closer we get, 60 does not seem old.
No, it doesn't. But you do. I think that's a very fair and natural question to ask.
Yeah, but the odds of you passing become greater with each passing year.
Exactly.
So, yeah, when somebody dies and it's way below what they should be naturally dying of, then you're curious, what was it?
So curious.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, again, it's another Logan mystery. There's many mysteries in Logan.
Kevin Ralston being the biggest.
Yes.
Who is this man?
Who is the Kevin Ralston?
Will we ever know?
I don't know.
You probably will not. And I have yet another mystery for you. There are mysteries all over the place. Exactly how did this get in this person's butthole?
Holy jump. Oh, my God. Is that real?
That is a dumbbell that has been shoved deeply into one's sphincter, and that is the x-ray of it.
It looks like a 5-pounder.
Oh, my gosh. Well, your
Actually, I
butthole-
would say that's a 7 to 10 pounder, Virginia.
Okay, and I don't want to question you on weight.
I know my sissy weights pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is greater than a 5-pounder.
I mean, you got to have like abs on your butthole to make that happen. Look how big that is. You got to really work that thing in.
That's troubling, though. I mean, that's troubling. When you get to that point, you're like, oh, boy, okay.
Good news, I don't think your sphincter is going to suck that one up there and eat it.
I mean,
Like we hear with some people that put stuff in their butt.
Well, that one's stuck. That one is not, that's got to come out. That can't go further in. And it's, if you know a dumbbell, that's going to be
maybe you
tough.
try to do like a new squat exercise.
Well, that's usually when they go to the ER, they've got this ridiculous excuse. Yes, I was
working out.
I was on my trampoline and
Do they ever just go in there and go, look, Doc, I just love things in my butt? I mean, that'd probably be a lot easier for
You
everybody.
should.
Yeah, at that point.
Why the lies?
Why are you going to lie? I was jumping on my bed.
They know you like things in your
Yeah.
butt. You know you like things in your butt. Let's just call it what it is.
It's like the guys on To Catch a Predator. This is the first time I've ever done that. Dude,
Okay.
there's no way this is the first time.
so there you go. Somebody sent this to me, came across this on Instagram. Can this be real? I'd say yes, it could be real.
Sure.
I mean, if you can get a Buzz Lightyear up there, I'd imagine you could probably do a dumbbell.
People are freaks. I don't have to tell you guys.
People are freaks.
Mm-hmm. Somebody says, is this the kind of butt play Kevin would be into with the weights?
Does it help your tries in your body?
Yeah, no, I do other things with the weights.
Are you lifting a lot again?
No, not a lot. No, I only do 30-minute workouts now, and I do some lighter weights 3 days out of the week, and then I have my trainer cardio kick my ass on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Did you just get tired of doing all that? Because I remember your workouts used to be insane. Did you just get kind of tired of doing that?
I did. I got burnt out. Yeah, it was 5 days a week, and it was an hour of just ass kicking. And I got tired. I was dreading. I dreaded it so much. I'm like, I'm just getting to the age where it's like, and what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Yeah.
Will you ever go back to that way of life?
No, I don't think so. I want to stay healthy. I want to stay lean and fit. But, and I'm 45 now. So it's like, what am I doing that for?
I'm not training for American Ninja Warrior. I'm a dad, for God's sake.
Yeah, I'd like to look better than 90% of the dads out there.
Which you do.
Yeah, and that's just it. I'm trying to stay on the healthier side of dadism. And then I'm good enough. I don't have to be, underwear model.
There are things you can do where you burn yourself out and you just go, never again. I can never go back to ever doing that again.
2018 was my year of burnout. Yeah, I hit the wall on a lot of things, and I was just like, it was just something clicked, and it's like I couldn't get any.
I'll tell you what clicked, Jerusalem Kev.
Yeah, that was great. It was peaceful. You know what? That was another thing towards the end of the year. I realized I'm like, I enjoy time off. I like just being able to chill. I like being able to decompress. And if I don't have that kind of time,
you like
what
to
am I
not
living for?
have that stress and just give yourself little breaks.
Yes.
Yes. I think it's crucial because those reset your brain.
Yeah.
They reset your body. And
I agree.
They make you feel normal.
This last Oregon trip, something happened to me too where I thought the same exact thing. I go, I want to travel a little bit more. I don't travel. You're getting older. You want to go see some cool things. Oregon, it was so cool to me just because it has so much shit Florida doesn't have, and I never leave Florida, and I want to do that more. And I was so peaceful coming back from Oregon. I think by Wednesday I wanted to choke slam somebody here at work. Fuck this, man.
Yeah.
Oregon bird was gone.
I need some time, man.
So smaller, more frequent little travel trips.
Exactly. Just do it more frequent.
Mm-hmm. I got this email from Ashley saying, hey, I was hoping you guys could weigh in on how to handle a smart-ass kid. Our daughter's in the 6th grade and is 11 years old. Sometimes her sarcasm is funny and makes me proud, but other times, a lot of the times recently, she comes across as rude, and it's embarrassing, especially because she's doing it in front of other adults who don't find it funny. Any thoughts on how to shut down the rudeness while still encouraging her to be funny? And full disclosure, she may get it from me, LOL.
You got to have a private conversation with her before the rudeness. So in the moment, there's nothing you can do. You got to smile and just take it, and you got to try to navigate that situation because you don't want to be screaming at your kid in front of other people. But when you get your kid back home, you sit down and you have a serious conversation about how you make me look out in public.
So I wonder, this is interesting because I remember being a little kid and being a little shit and kind of not following what my mom was saying. And she tried to do the private thing, and I still continued to do it. And it took for me to get publicly shamed and embarrassed for me to realize, yeah, I can't do that again because I hated the way it made me feel and look. Sometimes a little bit of embarrassment does kind of knock your ass back into line.
Every kid's going to be different, too. Here's the tricky thing. You have to figure out what works for you and your kid. Like with me and Mags, I've got it figured out with her. She's on a rewards system. If she likes to do the things that she likes to do, like go shopping, get her nails done, go get a haircut at the beauty salon, all those little things, she doesn't get those if she acts like an asshole in public. And she knows that because I've told her so much.
If you ask Denny's, he'll go on more of the side of a good public embarrassment's good for good for a person every now and then. It kind of teaches you not to be an asshole.
Okay.
No, we don't. I mean, my family, we try not to fall apart in public if we can help it, like yelling at our kids in front of a bunch of people.
No, I don't think you have to yell at the kid.
I don't like that.
I don't think you have to yell at a kid to embarrass the kid. My mom didn't yell at me. What my mom did was, oh, everybody, look, Jaybird's trying to be cool. Jaybird's trying to be funny. And I was so embarrassed by it because everyone started looking at me. She didn't yell at me. She just kind of called me out.
Shamed you.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not going to do that again. And it worked for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully it's just, because of where you are right now, it's just having a conversation with her and saying, hey, look, I think you're very funny. But you got to be aware of social situations, and you have to know the people around you. And you should not be using that kind of talk in these kind of groups, and that should be reserved for just family. When we're around, it sounds like, you're okay with that. And then if it's only family and you're in the house and she says something, you're going, don't be a smart ass to me. And then you can say that right then and there and let her know. But I think, as you're saying, that if she does not take the talking to and continues to do it, then continue to take things away from her is great.
And you got to figure out what her hot buttons are. I know what Magnolia's hot buttons are.
Stuff.
And doing fun things and going places and the mall and the shopping and the this and that. I will take stuff away real quick, and that would break her. So you have to kind of know your kids' hot buttons. What's going to break them?
For sure. Everyone's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there you go.
Rocco's going to be tricky. I'll tell you right now, he is going to be a lot harder to manage than Mags. He's a little bit like, I'm going to beat my own drum, and you guys are going to have to deal with it.
Oh, yeah, that's the fun thing of parenting is every kid has got their own little thing sometimes.
He's going to be, I think, a little bit more challenging.
So what is your strategy? What do you think you're going to do with him?
I don't know yet. He's only 3, and so it's really tricky when they're 3. We really are trying, but he is slippery, man. He's good.
Yeah.
Because he's so damn funny. He'll make you laugh, but he'll say really inappropriate things.
Well, that's just it. He's already learning at a quick age. If that's what's going on, he knows he's funny, and funny shit can get away with stuff sometimes.
He knows he is funny, and he knows that he's got us like belly laughing.
So all he has to do is get you guys to laugh, and then there's no punishment.
Right.
Gotta scare him.
Okay.
That was always what you would do in baseball. If a coach thought you wouldn't get into the players, one of the rules is you got to scare your team, scare them, make them think they're going to run for 100 miles, scare them, and they'll behave better.
What happened with him regressing with his potty training? Is that still been going on?
We're working on it. So he all of a sudden just started to have accidents in his pants again. I think he was like playing and didn't want to stop down to go poo. And like 2 or 3 days in a row, he was having poop issues. And the other night, he didn't have pants on and he took a poo on the kitchen floor. I'm like, Rocco, what the hell? I mean, this is regressing like a year. He was pooing on the floor a year ago.
Right, yeah.
We've come so far. I don't know. It was very bizarre, but we've been really, really strict and on him and just like keep reminding him every few hours. You have to go potty. You have to go potty. Poo-poo goes in the potty, not in your pants. Like,
What's the doctor say? Call his physician.
well, I was going to take him into the doctor if it continued. He kind of cleaned his act up, no pun intended, over the weekend.
Okay.
We did not have any poo-poo problems, so that was good. He was on his best poo behavior.
Talking about poo-poo problems, we've gotten a text during the regular show I didn't get a chance to get to as we moved on to something else, but problems with sneezing.
Yes.
And what it can cause. Somebody said, yeah, my grandma was going to the bathroom and she was pulling down her pants when she sneezed and wound up spraying the whole wall with shit.
Oh,
Grandma.
my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
That's so not fair.
That is rough for everybody involved.
Everybody.
Boy, that's just terrible.
Everybody pays the price.
That's just terrible. Yeah.
Gosh.
And talking about dealing with 3-year-olds, you hear this amazing story with this 3-year-old that got lost in North Carolina, just vanished from his grandmother's backyard?
I did. So he was playing with cousins.
Yeah.
And they weren't like really watching him, I guess. The other 2 cousins were kind of doing their thing.
Yeah.
And he wandered off on his own. And by the time they figured out that he was gone, they couldn't find him anywhere.
Did I read that he was like, he befriended a bear?
Yeah,
Did
that's what he claims. This 3-year-old is saying that because they're like, okay, he didn't have food, didn't have shelter, didn't have, the necessities.
He was gone for days.
Yeah, like 3 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
No way. 3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they finally, rescue workers found him. They had received a tip that there was a crying child that was calling out for his mother, and they went about 40 to 50 yards into a wooded area, and he's tangled up in some brush, and that's where they found him. But then as they started talking to him, he was saying that he hung out with a bear, and a bear took care of him.
Don't you hope that's real? Because in my head, I see the bear like picking up this kid, like licking his head, giving him honey. Like in my head, that's what I hope happened.
Looking out for him.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought for sure somebody kidnapped him. They snatched him right out of the yard.
Well, you think that anytime it goes 24 hours and it's a kid, that's what you think.
Totally.
Yeah. Be horrifying. I mean, I can't imagine those parents having to deal with that. I mean,
Thank God they found him.
going to bed and trying to sleep and then waking up and your kid's still not there.
I wouldn't be able to go to bed.
And they're 3. Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't.
I don't know. You would sleep for 3 days, and then that would make you even more crazy.
I'd be outside for 3 days. I would just be looking.
Yeah.
No bed.
That'd be some tough stuff. When we were out at Race for the Cure, we did a couple interviews, and one that kind of stuck with me was that mom that had been diagnosed early with stage 4 cancer, and that she has to do chemotherapy for the rest of her life every 3 weeks.
It's crazy.
I was like, that is unbelievable. Like, I couldn't even imagine. She said, yeah. She said, I'm just, tired like all the time, and it's tough. I just had to get used to it. And I mean, I've been there. There's a point in my career where I was just always tired, and it was the worst. Like, I couldn't imagine a lifetime sentence of that. And I was reading over the weekend on Reddit that you can get something, or at least somebody claims you can, secondhand chemo exposure.
What does that mean?
Well, she has a boyfriend who's going through chemo.
Yeah.
And she was just kind of going on there and seeking advice. She's like, it's the weirdest thing. She's like, I feel tired, run down, nauseous. I've been getting sick. And it all times out with when he gets chemo.
But it also could be that she's just stressed out by it, because everything she's having is signs of stress. And
yeah, she thought, am I getting like sympathy chemo symptoms, or what is going on? And somebody put up a snippet from a medical journal, and they said that, the chemotherapy gets in somebody's body, and they will actually tell you to watch exchanging bodily fluids, and they'll recommend for several days after chemo, definitely wear a condom and things like that.
Wow.
And yeah, apparently the chemo can be exchanged through like swap and spit or any other bodily fluids. And so she was getting some of the chemo in her body.
Whoa.
And so she was getting nauseous and going through the effects of it. I was like, how about that? I hadn't thought of that.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's something I learned. I had no idea.
I didn't either. I didn't realize you could catch chemo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Apparently so, according to the article they had there. So just a learning. Just online. Probably a lot of it's lies, but just learning.
Oh, you'll get 9 emails, Kevin. What are you talking about? That's so not true.
It probably isn't. But,
Well, tell her that. Her
fascinating.
story is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, and the people were responding. Yeah, they were walking away with it like it was some fact. I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's downright crazy. All right, appreciate all your emails. You can always get a hold of us, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com. We'll talk to y'all later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.